No one delivers more exclusive interviews with ATA executives than CBT News. CBT News, dealers' #1 source for auto industry news, content, coaching, and analysis.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me this morning. We all check ratings and reviews, you know you do, before making a big purchase. But how much do they really influence our decisions? Today, we are diving into key insights from Shep Hyken's latest research, the state of customer service and customer experience. Here to walk us through the findings and explore what they mean is actually Shep Hyken. So he's the customer experience expert, a New York Times bestselling author, Wall Street, you name it. This guy, you want to light up an audience? This guy's the speaker you need to bring in. So Shep, thank you so much for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to join us on the show. It's always great catching up with you. So from your perspective, why do ratings and reviews hold so much weight in the decision-making process?
Well, so first of all, thank you so much for having me back on the show.
Sure.
I feel like a repeat customer. And
I'll be back, right?
My favorite philosopher, Arnold Schwarzenegger, in his great movie, The Terminator, said, "I'll be back."
That's right.
And that's what we want our customers to do. So why are ratings and reviews important? And let me just share some of the most recent stats and facts. 83%, that's basically 8 out of 10 customers say they sometimes look at reviews and ratings before they make a purchase, which means they're important and you want to get them, but it's very important what you do and how you go about doing it. For example, and by the way, I can give you all the research on which customers like to leave reviews, like ones that were happy are more likely to leave a review than ones that aren't. But 7 out of 10 customers, basically 69%, are skeptical about the authenticity of the review. And here's, for an example, if you've got perfect 5-star ratings from 100, 200, 500 customers, not one bad thing, the customer is going to say, come on, something's going on here. Right. Nobody is perfect.
That's right. They want to see some authenticity there, right?
Yeah. There was a study done at Northwestern University a few years ago that said, what's the perfect number, like you would feel comfortable? And it was like a 4.2 or 4.3 on a scale of 1 to 5. But here's the key. When somebody leaves a negative review, and I think you've interviewed Jay Bear on the show.
Sure have.
Jay says when they leave a public review like this, it's like a spectator sport. The other customers get to watch how companies take care of this negative review.
That's right.
And I remember buying a very expensive item, and before I bought from this company, I checked their reviews, and they had some stellar reviews, and then they had a number of 1-star reviews slamming them. And I looked at the responses, and then I looked at the follow-up the customers had. I said, you know what? I know that if I have a bad experience, they're going to take care of me.
Right.
So we're looking for not just the review of the item and the service.
Yeah,
and the
it's a good point.
What happens when there's something bad?
Yeah, that's a very good point. That's a very good point. And my wife is addicted to TripAdvisor. We never go on a trip unless she goes to TripAdvisor because she wants to know what everybody is saying about that resort or that hotel or whatever the case might be. So vitally important, right?
And she's a very smart woman, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm glad you agree.
I do agree.
Let me ask you this. If you take a look at ratings or where people, the resources that people trust the most. So we asked, who do you trust most for product recommendations? And this is the ranking. And basically, you're going to laugh, or maybe not. You'll be surprised.
Sure.
Number 1 is family. Number 2 is friends. Number 3 surprised me in that celebrity endorsements actually hold a high level of trust. Yeah, it surprised me.
Wow.
Now, then you get to social media influencers, such as the TikTok influencers.
Yeah, of course.
Online forums, because you get to see conversations, usually from multiple customers talking about a particular issue. Number 6 is reviews or ratings on a retailer's website, like an Amazon or a Walmart. And number 7 at the bottom is ratings on the actual brand's website.
Yeah.
So at the bottom of the list are the actual ratings and reviews. Although I just told you at the beginning of our interview, like 8 out of 10 customers say, hey, reviews are super important to them.
Yeah, no question about it. And it's only growing, especially among millennials, Generation Z. They've got, they're walking around with this on their hip. So they're ready to, at a moment's notice, check out anything they need to, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And by the way, every one of the findings we break down by generational differences. And it is interesting, some of, not necessarily here with ratings and reviews,
Yeah.
but it really is interesting the vast difference between a Gen Z or a millennial compared to a baby boomer or the Gen X.
That's right. That's right. Hey, why do some businesses resort to fake or incentivize reviews? And what are the potential risks and consequences in doing that? Because I've got some friends of mine that, I know in their businesses, they've like kind of stocked it a little bit with friends and relatives that said, oh, these guys are the greatest,
Well, to me, asking a friend to leave a friendly review isn't nearly as bad as getting a bot to create a fake review, which is what some companies have done.
I know.
And I think it's actually there's going to be some legislation around this. And what's worse is you see companies sabotage competitors by going in and leaving fake bad reviews.
That's right.
Which is one of the reasons why there is some skepticism behind a perfect review or whether or not reviews are actually all that valid. I just got finished telling you, if you take a look at the top 7 choices we gave customers as to who you trust most, it turns out that a review or rating on the actual brand's website. So if you go to the restaurant's website and you read reviews, let me ask you this, testimonials. I even have them on my website. I'm not going to put a bad testimonial on my website.
No, you're not. You're not. Right.
But hopefully, what we're doing is creating the expectation of experience, and then we deliver on that experience, and then that customer says, like I said, I'll be back.
That's right. That's right. We see so many companies now and people that are in sales, whether it be in real estate or auto sales or furniture, whatever it might be, they realize that they need to build their own brand in social media. Even though they might be working for ABC dealership, they're a salesperson there, but they're building their Tom Smith at ABC Auto Group, and they get their own reviews, and they put on their own pictures, and they get on their own testimonials. Do you recommend that?
Yeah, I think anybody who is in that type of business should be working on their personal brand, because regardless of the company you work for, you want to be recognized as the professional at a certain level that you are.
Right.
And by the way, you could be a server at a restaurant. You should still have a LinkedIn profile with some endorsements and some experience, and it should be on your resume.
Good point.
Some of the good things that people say.
That's
I love testimonial letters. If somebody writes a letter, and it's wonderful, I want to share that with my clients, just as any company would want to share that testimonial letter. And then, by the way, the important piece of this is we get this great letter. And by the way, when we get complaint letters, what happens when a company receives a complaint letter? They go to the person that caused the problem. They try to teach how to not do it again, right? Well, if you get a testimonial letter, go to the same, good one, go to the same person who caused that positive experience and say, what can we do to do more of this? And not only that, let's teach everybody else so that maybe we'll get more letters similar to this.
That's right. In fact, airlines do a pretty good job of that, right? Where you can actually give a voucher to a flight attendant that's done an excellent job, and they can, I think, turn that in for cash, can't they? Or credit or something?
Yeah, so it's a great, I know American Airlines has that experience where I have these vouchers they send me every year, and I get to write the flight number, the name of the flight attendant, and then I hand it to the flight attendant. The flight attendant thanks me, hugs me, and says, thank you. And that's because this makes them look good. And I love that idea.
Before I let you go, what are some of the top companies or brands that come to mind when you think of excellent customer service? We just talked about American Airlines, I think, and what they're doing there. But can you list a few that stand out that you see as Shep Hyken, an expert in this field, to say this is the gold? These are the gold standard.
Well, I mean, there's companies that everybody seems. By the way, no matter what company I mention, there's going to be somebody out there that doesn't like them. So even the companies that are recognized for top service, I could tell you how I love the Ritz-Carlton or the Four Seasons, and somebody's going, yeah, but I had a bad experience there. Fine. But overall, when I go to places like this, Chick-fil-A, consistency and predictability, oh my gosh.
Unbelievable.
They're so good.
Unbelievable.
Amazon. I just had an Amazon order that said it was delivered. Now, I live in a building with a doorman 24/7 that scans every package in. And he goes, we never scanned this number in. I never got the package.
Right.
All I did, I went on the chat and I said, I didn't receive the package. And they said, I had the order number in there. And they said, would you like us to refund you the money or send it to you again? And 3 minutes later, I'm going, this is why I love Amazon.
That's right.
And I
That's
hardly
right.
ever, by the way, experience a problem. The last time was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But now I know, again, they reinforced the already great predictable service that I have.
Yep.
Believe it or not, the public, because we asked, what are the top brands you think of when you think of great service? The public lists Walmart up there. Here, I've got the top 25 brands according to customers. Amazon, Walmart, Target, Apple, Chick-fil-A, Costco, Google, Verizon, and AT&T. That's the top 10. Oh, and Home Depot.
Wow.
It's up there. So if you think about, wow, I was surprised. AT&T.
Yeah, I'm surprised. It's funny you should say that because I'm surprised at that one too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just kidding about that.
Oh,
But, the technology companies, the reason they get a bad rap is because the only reason your cable went out or your phone isn't working is because you tried to use it and it didn't work.
That's
what
right.
you don't realize is they were probably proactively trying to get it to work and they realized it before you even called to complain. But so they sometimes get a little bit of a cloud over their head,
Sure.
if you will. Customers have an expectation of the big box store.
Yeah.
They don't expect Ritz-Carlton level service,
Right.
but they do expect friendly service and efficient service, which means
Right.
they get in, even though it's a huge store, they find what they need. They don't have to wait 30 minutes in line
Right.
to get out of the store at checkout. Walmart even said a few years ago, hey, we realize it's going to be a big Christmas season. And so we are arranging to have extra cashiers there on hand for if there's more than 3 or 4 people in line so that people don't have to wait a long time. They publicly said that,
Yeah.
and it worked because people
great.
said, okay, I'm going to go in there. It's so busy, but I know I'm going to get out quickly.
That's right. That's right. There's so much to take away from here. And my last question, I promise, and then I'll let you get on with your day. What's the trend out there? What's kind of the buzzword or the trend for 2025 in the area of customer service and customer experience from your standpoint? What do you want the viewer today to leave with? If you had to focus on one thing.
Well, it's one word, 2 letters, I guess, AI.
I was just going to say, I think I know where this is going, right?
It's a big thing right now.
It
and
is.
As customers are becoming more comfortable with AI, and the reason is about 2.5 years ago, ChatGPT hit the public world. What cost hundreds of thousands to implement 10 years ago is costing simply hundreds today, meaning even the smallest companies can afford to put some type of a self-service AI bot. But here's the key. The best companies have learned that you can't go all in and only create a digital experience. You're going to find the companies you love to do business with give you the option, and they create a digital experience when you use it. It's easy, intuitive, it's frictionless, and it brings you back to that experience. Even though they know, it's like the airlines. I'll book my reservation online, but if I got a problem, I know I can make a phone call and somebody's going to be there to help me.
Right. That's right. No question. I'm going to leave it right there. Shep Hyken, customer service and experience expert, keynote speaker, best-selling author, all-around great guy. Thank you so much for stopping by. We very much appreciate it, and love to do a follow-up because I got about 15 other items I want to throw at you and get your opinion on. So thanks so much.
I'm ready, and thanks for having me back.
Awesome. Thanks.